Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about day 5 of Angamardana practice, and I will mention in advance that there is quite a bit that I want to cover in this video, so it is going to be on the longer side. If you are pressed for time, my little trick is I always play longer videos that I want to get the information, but I don't have the time to watch the full one at a different playback speed of 1.25 or 1.5, depending on how fast you want to listen. So, yeah, I highly recommend if you want to watch the full video, you can just change the playback speed. Um, so, let me begin by saying that why is this video different today as opposed to yesterday? So there are noticeable changes that I'm seeing with this practice and with the Isha Kriya meditation, 100%. However, there haven't been that many of a significant change for me to make a full-length video like this. They're all minor changes until today. So I'm going to talk about the major differences between yesterday, today, and now that it's day 5, I actually have a lot more information to go on. So I'm able to contrast and compare a lot better than I would have yesterday. So I know yesterday I did the meditation first because I thought it would be nice to enter the Angamardana and do the yogic practice with a very clean head. And it absolutely worked. But as I said yesterday, it left me in a place where I almost didn't know what to do with myself. I was so calm and I was so emotionally balanced, and my mind was just so blank. There was no intention behind anything that I wanted to do. So, like, the possibilities are definitely there. I could sit down and do anything. I could sit down and write a novel. I could sit down and draw or paint a picture. I could read a book, or work on something. Absolutely. But there wasn't that incentive to do anything. Today, completely different, 100%. Even towards the end of the evening yesterday, started to become a bit different. So I'll start from yesterday evening and then we'll work our way into the changes that I'm experiencing today, or how it compares to yesterday, and how I feel after I've just finished my practice as well. So, like I said, I filmed the video shortly after I finished my practices just so I can have a bit of a consistency to them, but I don't think that's 100% always going to be the case. So, towards my second round of Isha Kriya meditation, because I do 2 rounds, I do one in the morning along with my Angamardana yogic practice, and then one at around 3 o'clock as well. The first one, went off without the hitch. I was able to really get into the zone like always, and um, I am not the body, I am not the mind for the 15-minute duration, as directed by Sadhguru. And I found that the 3 p.m., it was a bit harder for me to do that. I started to have a lot more self awareness thoughts come up, I would say. So my mind became more active as opposed to not being active during the day, just being blank. It started to become more active towards the afternoon and the evening. The evening ended up being quite productive for me as well. I did a lot of, because I do writing in my spare time, I did get a bit of writing done, and like I would say, definitely information starts flowing more freely and it's cohesive, it's coherent, it all makes sense. But I was not able to allow that same focus to come through. So, as I was meditating on the inhale, you mentally say to yourself, I am not the body. On the exhale, I am not the mind. You do this for 15 minutes. As much as, and I also have the YouTube video of Sadhguru, which I will link below in the description box, with the Sadhguru's voice saying that as well to assist me with that duration as well. So I did have that, but I also had other thoughts coming up. Now, they weren't intrusive thoughts, they weren't any negative thoughts. They were just thoughts about my life and, things that I should be doing, things that I want to do, things that are going on around me. There were some feelings that started coming up. There were some ideas about my life that started coming up. So, what I noticed yesterday is this kind of blankness in the morning allowed my emotions to rearrange themselves and my subconscious to start to speak to me. That's the most important thing, as I found, is this mind body connection is starting to sync. So I am starting to have maybe things that I've repressed from the past or things that I didn't want to think about kind of start to trickle up a little bit at a time, and they kind of want to be dealt with as well. They want to be addressed. Which leads me to my next point. Towards the evening, one of the other habits that I have picked up is I do listen to a lucid dreaming. It's a 1 hour meditation that promotes lucid dreaming because I feel like dreams are very important and it allows our subconscious to speak to us as well. And since I'm on this journey of self development and self discovery, I want to address myself and my issues from all aspects. And if I can't address it in the consciousness, or if something is blocking me from really diving deep into my shadow self, or maybe it's something that I'm completely even unaware of, then I do want it to come up while I'm sleeping. So, hence the reason that I do play this lucid dreaming 1 hour YouTube video, which I will also link in the description below. And that, listening to that 1 hour before bed, allows me to have these which I did have semi-lucid dreams. Now, I did have a fairly vivid dream this past night, or this past night, and the dream had to do with alcohol. So it was a dream about myself and my girlfriend helping another girlfriend maneuver herself. She was inebriated. We both were not in this dream. It's important to say, through the alcohol or through the LCBO or the liquor store, if you will. And towards the end of the dream, my girlfriend, she found a bag of drugs on the floor and she holds it up as well. And we try to usher her out of the store without her causing a scene. That is the kind of the gist or the summary of this dream. Now, why is this important? Well, in order to do this practice, I live in Canada, so weed is legal here. Yay! So I do recreationally use it, and I did give it up I gave it up about a week ago, and I gave up a drink, having an alcoholic beverage as well. So I really wanted to rearrange the way that I think and the way that my mind works. And I did want to let all of these feelings and all of these emotions come up. And I did not feel like I could do that if I was altering my states of consciousness. I really wanted it to have come in as like a clean state and see, what does this practice do to me in my natural state? How does it mold my mind? How does it manifest? How does it come out? What is going to come out of me? Like, what kind of thoughts do I really have? That, because we're all in a one sense or another, not all, but I think a lot of us trying to escape something or forget the past or make our experience here better, more pleasurable. And these are some of the things that we use in order to facilitate that. So that being said, I do feel like it was talking about giving up the dream, and I'm referring to the dream, was talking about, going in the right direction, giving up vices, and that's something that came up through my subconsciousness, which I was a little bit surprised, but honestly, not that surprised. And I didn't feel the need to sit there and analyze the dream. I just feel like it reiterates the fact that I'm on the right path, and like, this is something that I don't need in my life, and yoga and meditation is something that I do. So a comparison between yesterday and today. Again, yesterday I woke up at 7 a.m. Today I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and the day before yesterday I woke up at 8. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I have been waking up earlier, and don't feel tired. I just wake up naturally even before the sun was up. Today there was no sun because, as I mentioned, I live in Canada, so we got a beautiful winter weather here. I woke up to some sleet and rain today and very cold and more snow. Um, that being said, again, woke up in like a fairly good mood, even though I had a dream. So my mind was already filled with some emotion and some thoughts. It's not like I woke up with a blank mind like I would have liked, or like well rested. I woke up well rested, but there was still a little bit of an imbalance, if you will. Uh, so that given that it was a little bit harder to start my practice today. It's nice when it's sunny out and you have that positive energy and you want to seize the day. It is a little bit harder when the weather is gloomy, it's cold outside, you kind of want to stay in bed, and it's 6 a.m. in the morning. I don't start my practices right away. I take my time to do some yogic stretches in bed as well, just to get the body a little bit awake and settling in and getting up. I do, however, always start my start my morning with a neem, turmeric, cayenne, honey, and lemon tea. And that's actually been recommended by Sadhguru as something that not only helps detoxify the body, but it helps prepare the body for the sadhanas, the meditations. So, one of the benefits of the neem, cayenne, honey, and turmeric powder tea, it stimulates the central nervous system and expands consciousness, detoxifies the body, especially the alimentary canal. And it also allows transmission of energy evenly throughout the body, creates a conductive atmosphere for spiritual sadhana. Um, I made a list of all the points that I wanted to talk about today. It's a double-sided list. That's how many differences there are between yesterday and today, and I will go through them one by one. I wasn't sure how I wanted to structure the video. If I wanted to talk about, because I do the practices in conjunction with another, if I wanted to talk to them about them together or do them separately, but I'm actually going to talk about it naturally as it flows together and separately. So this tea that I drink, it does take about 4 to 6 weeks to start to kick in, to build up, for the body to get accustomed to it. But I will highly recommend it as something to incorporate into your daily life, because it really has improved the mental processing. I find that I process cleaner and faster, and my mind is more awake after I not even after I drink it, just once I started incorporating into my daily routine. I just find it makes waking up a bit more easier, and my thoughts are more collected. So I'd start the day with that. Then I proceeded to, unlike yesterday, start the day with my Angamardana exercises first. And then I figured I would do the Isha Kriya meditation after. Yesterday, I did the opposite. I did the meditation first and then the yoga after. And that resulted in like a very blank, neutral, stable self. But I didn't feel any fire. I didn't feel any passion towards a direction of to pursue something. So I was left in this no man's land, kind of where, great, I feel great. My mind is really crisp. It's very clean. And my body feels great. Emotionally, I feel great. Spiritually. But I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what I should do with myself. I didn't want that same thing to happen to me today. So I decided to switch it again. And I don't mind doing this because I feel like part of this practice is being on a journey and finding out what works best for me. It's not like I set out to say, I'm going to do it this way, and that's the only way I'm going to do it for the next 30 or 60 or 90 days or however long I choose to do it. No, not at all. My goal here is to find that perfect routine that works for me. And I don't mind making adjustments and seeing how I feel, and then making the necessary adjustments again and seeing how that changes how I feel. So I did find that and especially because my mind was already a little bit in its own state, I thought it would be best to get the yoga out of the way. Not so much out of the way. I know it was kind of because at that point, honestly, it seemed like a bit of a chore because I wasn't really in that mood or that mindset. Once I started, within 5 minutes, that went away, and I was able to transition and my focus back into the Angamardana practice. So, this being day 5, I find that I no longer have the need to look at the computer and follow along with the moves. I have gotten into the flow of things. So, I do maybe 3 or 4 different checks because there are a lot of different poses that are involved and different stretches, and they're all in sequence. So just to make sure that I'm in sequence, I'll have the video playing, which I will link below, playing alongside me. But I seldom need to check on it. So I've also started adding my own moves. Not so much my own moves, but my body started to naturally want to stay in certain positions a little bit longer, and it started making its own adjustments. So there are some positions that I like that I stay longer in than others. There are a couple of stretches that I myself added, but not consciously. It was my body adding it. So what do I mean by that? I was going through the flow, I was following along, and then the next thing I know, my body wants to do this. So I allow it, of course, and it wants to do a fold in that regard, even though it wasn't on the scheduled docket, if you will. I'm going to go with how I feel and what works best for me. I'm not going to be, strict on myself and say, no, this is the only way to do it. If anything, the practice is all about coming into oneself and my relationship with my body and how the energy flows through me. So that's going to be my main focus, and not, these are the rules and guidelines and you must only follow these rules and guidelines. I'm very big advocate of listening to body, mind, and spirit of what is right for the person. So that has gotten me to about a 50 now to an hour long practice. Before this, the first couple times that I did it, it was about, I would say about 35 to 40 minutes. Then I decided to stay in the stretches a little bit longer and moved up to 45 minutes. And now I'm at about a 55 minute mark that I'm doing this. I think once I completely forgo following along and create my own schedule for it, it's going to be about an hour to maybe an hour and 15 minutes long. And I feel like that's a good amount of time that I would want to focus on this. Because a lot of it is, there's a bit of a mental aspect in it too. When I do these folds and I focus my energy on my posture, I focus on how is my body feeling in this. There are things that I want to adjust. There are different ways that I want to move, and I want to honor that. I don't want to just go up and down or left and right just because. So I want to do what feels natural and what feels right for me. Physically wise, do I feel any difference? Is there any weight loss, anything like that? There is no weight loss, but there has been a little bit of very light muscle soreness, just because I'm using certain muscles and there are certain holds and positions where, for example, I'm using my abdominal muscles. So the next day I feel a little bit of that post-workout soreness, but very, very slight, because again, this isn't a super exercise fueled workout. It's meant to work on sinews and ligaments and stretch out your muscles. It's not meant to bulk up or anything like that, though it does create muscle tone. So how do I feel after I finished it today? very, like I mentioned, about 5 minutes in, all that kind of lethargy went away and I got right back into it. I always feel super good right after. I feel not only accomplished, but my body wants to move and my body has energy. That's the most important thing I will take away from this is every time I do this, there is a flow. So it definitely aligns my chakras. There's definitely an opening of energy within me. There's a waking up of whatever is in me. Everything wants to wake up. And there is a mind body flow right away. As soon as I finish, it's there. Like I mentioned yesterday, it is important not to shower for 30 minutes after, at least 30 minutes after, or eat anything. So I honor that as well. So this is the time, this 30 minutes is when I go do my Isha Kriya breathing meditation. And I will get into that as well. Let me just double check that I did not forget anything. Yeah, I feel like tons more energy, clear head right after I finish. Not not calm though today. So I actually had a lot of exciting thoughts, a lot of stimulating thoughts. I felt like I wanted to be really productive today. The first thing I actually wanted to do was make a YouTube video, believe it or not. And I had so many different ideas running through my mind. I was like, oh, I need to tell them about this and about this. And like, this is how I feel. So there was definitely a lot more different kind of energy. It wasn't a calm energy. No, this is an exciting energy. This is an energy that wants to move, that wants to do things. So this was followed by my Isha Kriya, which I do sitting facing east, that is recommended, with the chin slightly upturned in lotus position. So the Isha Kriya, I will link the link in the description box below as well, is a meditation by Sadhguru. When you, on the inhale, I am not this body. Mentally, we say that to ourselves. On the exhale, I am not even this mind, for the duration of about 15 minutes. So there is a big change here that's happened that I want to address. Previously, when I first started doing this Isha Kriya meditation, day 1 and 2, in itself, the whole meditation lasts about 12 minutes, that is recommended. And it's divided into about 6 minutes of the breathing and about 6 minutes of vocalizations of to clear the breath. And the vibrations also dispel negative energies throughout the body and just align energetically. Is at least they do for me. I think there's probably other good reasons for doing it, but for me, that's what it does. It aligns my chakras, and most importantly, it dispels any negative vibrations within me. So the sound of my own voice kind of stabilizes me, if you will. So let's get back to the main difference. Main difference was before I was doing these 12 minutes, I found that that is just simply not enough for me. I actually had to, while I was doing it, I had to use up 3 different notebooks to write out notes. So this one here. My mind was filled with so much information and so much flow. I just started jotting down notes about everything and about how I was feeling on all of these notebooks. It's like all of this energy wanted to get out. That's one of the main differences. The second one being, like I mentioned, it was just the 12 minutes was simply not enough for me. I wanted more. The time, the concept of time changed. Before, I thought it'd be like, oh, you sit there for 15 minutes with your eyes closed. It's almost as if you're sitting there counting the time to go by. That is simply not the case. The time goes by like this before I know it. So I actually adjusted the way I do the meditation. I now do 2 different back-to-back meditations. You guessed it. It's going to be in the description box below. So the first one is a 15-minute simply chant of I am not the body, I am not the mind. But it has no vocalizations. And I found that I do need those extra 6 minutes of awe in order to really clear my head. So I do 15 minutes of I am not the body, I'm not the mind, followed by a second YouTube video, which consists of the 6 minutes and 6 minutes. So in total, that brings me to 21 minutes of I am not the body, I'm not the mind, and 6 minutes of vocalizations of the awe. And then there's a bit of chanting by Sadhguru, as well as some Isha music as well. That'll get me into the meditation and really nicely lead me out of the meditation as well. So it's not such an abrupt beginning and an abrupt end. I find it very nice. It's very soothing. It's very calm. And it comes up to about 30 minutes, which is perfect, which brings me right around in time to shower, change, get my day ready, and have my second tea, which is a green matcha tea. And that has a bit of caffeine in it. I don't take coffee in the mornings. Though I do have a cup now and again. I enjoy an espresso, why not? But it does bring me around to my cup of matcha, and the caffeine in that really stimulates my system in order to start the day. So I will say today was a bit more sporadic for sure, 100%. My mind just wanted to go, go, go. It did not want to, it still does not want to stay still. There has been a big energetic shift, and I feel that within myself. I feel a lot more goal-oriented, a lot more focused, for sure, and a lot more driven. I feel sure about myself. I feel very centered. I would say if I was to describe the word of the day, it would be centered. And another major difference that I found was that I had to sit down today and journal for about an hour because I had so many thoughts running through my head in a very good, positive way. They weren't just random thoughts. They were really good ideas, and ideas that you kind of you can take that idea and run with it and expand it and explain it and think about it some more. So imagine having all of those ideas being thrown at you kind of at the same time. And they were coming up naturally from within me, and they were things that I never would have thought of, well, obviously, but I did. So I had to sit down and do a bit of journaling as well about how I was feeling and about my dream, and analyze that before I could actually be focused enough to make this YouTube video. Otherwise, it was just all over the place. So yeah, I would say that is the biggest difference as well. And I think I will maybe break down the video a little bit differently. I think I'll do maybe part 2 and see how does this energy affect me throughout the rest of my day. If I'm going to be able to maintain this energy, or is my mind going to go back to blank, or what else am I going to do with it? I'm not quite sure. But I definitely started this day differently, and I wrote down in my notes here, overall feeling towards my body and mind is wanting to change, and as an intellectual design, it knows what it's doing. I feel like I'm formulating as a new person, and that's very true. One of the other things that I wanted to mention, I'm going to go back to this is why I made notes, is so that I don't skip anything. So let me just go back to the Isha Kriya for a minute. I did mention that I'm craving more length, and the time goes by super fast. Like I could probably do an hour of that meditation, and it would feel like 15 minutes to me. Yeah, the importance of vocalization and cleaning the stagnant energy. I mentioned that. The other thing that I found in the Isha Kriya meditation now is I'm able to hold two opposing thoughts. So it's as if I'm working my left side and my right side simultaneously, but with the different things. So, what do I mean by that? While I was meditating, there was a part of me that when all these new ideas were coming up, all I wanted to do was write everything down. But I couldn't because I am in meditation. So what was one half of me was just processing and trying to integrate and implement all of these ideas and not to forget them, because I didn't want to break my meditation and reach for a pen and paper and start jotting notes, obviously. But a part of me wanted to do that. And then the other part of me was actually perfectly in sync with the breathing, and it was completely calm and it was focused on the meditation. So this was definitely something new to me, is this notion of holding two opposing thoughts and two opposing actions within myself simultaneously. And I've noticed that I've started making natural adjustments overall throughout my day. I've started layering my skills and my knowledges. So some of the things that I do, for example, when I meditate to the Isha Kriya, I also take the time to do my mudras, which are the hand gestures that stimulate different areas of the body based on the different positions of the fingers. And for example, this is one I've been obsessed with, is this. This is you rub the nails together. This stimulates hair growth. So something that I wanted to do now that I'm getting a little bit older, my hormones are changing, my hair is becoming a little bit thinner, it's not as luscious as I had it when I was a teenager. So I've been doing this, and you do this for about 5 minutes, and it's so simple. You can do it while you're watching the news, or you can take go into the bathroom, whatever it is that you're doing, do it for 5 minutes. And I've been doing it throughout my day whenever I remember, whenever I'm sitting around or listening or my hands are free, I can do this. In the car, if you're a passenger and somebody's driving, take the time, do this. And it stimulates hair growth. It has other benefits as well. They all do. It's not just one thing. It's always a little package of stuff that's good for you, that you should do this or that, and stimulate the gallbladder or detox the liver or the kidneys, depending on which one you choose. This one's also really good for the hair as well. So I've started stacking things that I learn, and it's just started coming naturally. So once I'm in lotus position, my hands just naturally want to do a certain mudra. I'm not even sometimes sure which one I'm doing. I just know that this is the position that my hands want to be in, and I will permit that. I'm not going to force it into something that I think I need. I'm going to let my body adjust itself as it sees fit. So that's another thing that I wanted to mention, is that. And I've started working with crystals again as well, is something else that has come up. So I feel like energetically I'm being drawn towards all these complementary things, to work with them, like I mentioned, in conjunction with what I'm doing now. So to summarize, if I was to say all the things that I'm doing, so I'm doing the Wim Hof breath in the evening. I'm doing the Isha Kriya once in the morning, once at 3 p.m., and the Angamardana, which I am doing in the mornings upon waking up before my Isha Kriya, I find best. But who knows, that could change later on. So, okay, let me know if you have any questions, any comments. That way maybe I can answer them, or anything that you want to share with your practices as well. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll be sure to link all of the things that I'm doing and all the videos that I'm watching for you. So if you wish, you can follow along. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.